Nijar Guragata Sangsara Majia Rohili Podia Shepode Nohilo Asha Shepode Nohilo Asha Apana Koroma Bunjaye Shamana Kohoye Lochana Dasa Apana Koroma Bunjaye Shamana Kohoye Lochana Dasa Parama Koruna Pahudvijan Nitai Gaurachandra
Bahudujana Nita
Nitai Gaurachandra Shab Avatar Shar Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paribrajak Acharya Ashtotara Sata Shishimara's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Gaur Premanande All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravarni Pracharine Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Just for a couple new people here. Hare Krishna. So usually in the morning time, Srila Prabhupada would speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, but not always. Sometimes in the morning, he would speak on Caitanya Caritamrita. For example, in New York in 1976, when he came for the first large New York Rath Yatra, he spoke in the morning on Caitanya Caritamrita. In fact, right on this chapter that we're talking about now. And before speaking, he chanted. Any idea what song he might have chanted prior? Usually he chanted Jaya Radha Madhava. This one, yes. Parama Karuna by Lochandas Thakur. So we're trying to follow in that footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. So we're here on reading in Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, Adya Leela, chapter 20, text, I have text number 149. Is that correct?
151.
Oh, really? When we get, okay, 151.
That's the Sanskrit, yeah.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai
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 Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai
Jai
Advaita
Advaita
Chandra
Chandra
Jai Gaur
Jai
Bhakta
Gaur
Vrinda.
Text 151. Dashame Dashamam Lakshyam Ashvitashraya Vigraham Shri Krishnakyam Param Dhama Jagat Dhama Namami Tat. Translation. The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam reveals the 10th object, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of all surrendered souls. He is known as Sri Krishna and is the ultimate source of all the universes. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Purport. This is a quotation from the Bhavarta Deepika, Sridhar Swami's commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. Are you familiar with Sridhar Swami?
Yes.
What do you know about Sridhar Swami? That was Sudevi, right?
Yeah, he writes commentary on Bhagavatam, and the Prabhupada mentioned him a lot.
Yes. He was he preceded Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's considered in the Vaishnav line one of the original commentators on the Srimad Bhagavatam. There was a devotee who came to Puri who wrote a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam called Subodhini Tika, and he was a contemporary of Lord Chaitanya named Vallabha Bhatta. So he wanted Lord Chaitanya to read his commentary, and he made the comment, he said, my commentary is even better than Sridhar Swami, this Sridhar Swami. So Lord Chaitanya's retort was, oh, you've given up your Swami, therefore you're unchaste. Because a woman, Swami also means husband. So the method of receiving spiritual knowledge is not to think oneself better than the previous acharya, but to follow, not to give up. So we see here in Caitanya Caritamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, he's quoting from previous acharyas and from Vedic literature. He's not making up something new. It's become the fashion in later days that there's so many people who claim to be incarnations of God. But if you examine their teachings, you'll find it's completely different than the teachings of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita or in the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. So then, if they're really incarnations of God, how is it that they've completely changed their philosophy? The fact is that they are not incarnations of God. They are posing that way for other purposes. So therefore, Rupa Goswami said, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatriki Vidhimvina Aikantike Hrer Bhaktir Upataya Vakalpate. That spiritual instruction that does not follow the Shruti, which are the Vedas, Smriti, the histories and Puranas, that's just a disturbance in human society. So here we see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking to Sanatana Goswami and teaching him. He's following, even though he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's following the previous acharyas and quoting from Vedic scriptures. So we should take that as our example as well. We should always back up what we're saying with scriptural authority and of the authority of previous acharyas. So let's see. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a description of the Ashraya Tattva, Sri Krishna. There are two tattvas, Ashraya Tattva and Ashrita Tattva. Ashraya Tattva is the objective and Ashrita Tattva is the subjective. You follow this? You follow that? I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand that. So what did I do? I went to the dictionary to find, because, you know, just like in the dictionary, you'll find there's a primary meaning and a secondary meaning and like that of, so subjective and objective. So I'm just going to read, you know, the primary and secondary meanings of this. So the secondary meaning, usually you think of subjective as being, oh, that's a subjective opinion. That means it's colored by my own personal biases. But that's not being referred to here. Here, subjective means, according to the secondary definition of subjective, is of or relating to the essential being. So subjective is subordinate and objective is the essential being. Got it? Mm. Of or relating to the essential being. So Krishna is the objective and everything else is subjective. Another meaning of subjective is given in the dictionary is illusory. So everything else is illusory, at least the material creation is illusory. We also say that the material creation is illusory, but in the sense that its manifestation is temporary. It's real, but it's temporary. The forms and activities, etc., are temporary. So in that way, the material creation is subjective. Questions, comments? All right.
So is the, let the other lady go first.
Oh, I just want to make sure I understood correctly. So when the Ashraya Tattva objective and the Ashrita Tattva, if I understood, the Ashraya will be less Krishna's lotus feet, just the object, and I'm just trying to understand it like.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
So that will be the object, and then the Ashrita will be, what?
That's the everything else. The living entity, the material creation, everything else is Ashrita Tattva.
Ashraya means shelter. So he is the one we take shelter of. And does Ashrita mean one who takes shelter?
Yes, or is dependent on. Has no freedom or independence is another meaning given to subjective. So Ashrita is, taking shelter, but also dependent on, under the control of, all those words.
So I was about to say, like you mentioned, might have been better instead of saying objective and subjective. To me, the objective means the independent variable, as we call it. So it's independent of anything and everything else, whereas the subjective could have been dependent, which means it's dependent on the independent.
Yes, but of course, yes, that's correct. And of course, we're not going to say it would be better to say that. this is the words are there. This is the words from the Acharya, so we accept that as perfect. And it's all, but those are the meanings. So it's good for us to like try to understand it. And so we had the opportunity to further understand it by looking into the meanings of these words and getting a better understanding of those words. Okay. Since the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna are the shelter of all devotees, Sri Krishna is called Param Dhama. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Everything is resting under the lotus feet of Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Samashrita ye padapallava plavam mahatpadam punya yasho murare. Under the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the entire Mahat Tattva is existing. Since everything is under Sri Krishna's protection, Sri Krishna is called Ashraya Tattva. Everything else is called Ashrita Tattva. The material creation is also called Ashrita Tattva. Liberation from material bondage and the attainment of the spiritual platform are also Ashrita Tattva. How is that? How is that?
Because we need to attain liberation and we need to attain the spiritual platform. We still don't have it.
Yes, I'm thinking of something more.
There is no other shelter except Krishna?
Yes, and because without Krishna, there's no possibility of achieving liberation. So it's under the control of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna's name is Mukunda, one who gives liberation. So it's under the control of Krishna. Yeah. Krishna is the only Ashraya Tattva. In the beginning of creation, there are Maha Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. They are also Ashraya Tattva. Krishna is the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. To understand Krishna perfectly, one has to make an analytical study of the Ashraya Tattva and the Ashrita Tattva. So that's what Lord Chaitanya is doing with Sanatana Goswami now. He's going to make a careful study, analytical study of the Ashraya Tattva of Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna introduced himself as Mata Parataram Nanyat Kanchidasti Dhananjaya. There's no truth superior to me. He explained himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he said that he's going to explain to Arjuna just a small portion of his opulence because his opulence is unlimited. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to give us even more of that opulence and understanding of who Krishna is here in Caitanya Caritamrita, not making it up, but based on Vedic literature in other places. So this is pretty amazing. So Krishna introduced himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita and gave some more basic understanding. And now Lord Chaitanya is giving us further understanding. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 7th chapter, he says, if you want to remember me, Rasoham Apsukonteya Prabhashmi Shashi Suryayo Pranava Sarvavedeshu Shabdake Paurushamnishu. I am the taste of the liquid or the water. Prabhashmi Shashi Suryaya. I am the light of the sun and the moon. Pranava Sarvavedi. I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. Shabdake, the sound in ether. Paurusham Nishu, and the ability in people. So these are introductory understandings of how we can see Krishna and we can understand Krishna. So he goes further in the Bhagavad Gita also, but here Lord Chaitanya is teaching Sanatana Goswami, and through Sanatana Goswami, he's teaching us about his further glories. Text 152.
কৃষ্ণের স্বরূপ বিচার শুনো সনাতন, অদ্বয় জ্ঞান তত্ত্ব ব্রজে ব্রজেন্দ্র নন্দন।
O Sanatan, please hear about the eternal form of Lord Krishna. He is the absolute truth, devoid of any duality, but present in Vrindavan as the son of Nanda Maharaj.
সর্ব আদি সর্ব অংশী কিশোর শেখর, চিদানন্দ দেহ সর্বাশ্রয় সর্বেশ্বর।
Krishna is the original source of everything and the sum total of everything. He appears as the supreme youth, and his whole body is composed of spiritual bliss. He is the shelter of everything and the master of everyone. Purport. Krishna is the origin of all Vishnu tattvas, including Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. He is the ultimate goal of Vaishnava philosophy. Everything emanates from him. His body is completely spiritual, and he is the source of all spiritual being. Although he is the source of everything, he himself has no source. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam, Adyam, Purana, Purusham, Navayovanam Cha. Although he is the supreme source of everyone, he is still always a fresh youth. Did you recognize that verse? Advaitam, Achyutam.
Brahma Samhita.
That's from the Brahma Samhita. It starts out with the word Advaita. Advaita means non-dual. Non-dual. And then just Advaitam, Achyutam never falls down. Anadim, beginningless. Anantarupam, and having unlimited forms. Ananta means many, 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 numerous, unlimited. So even though on one hand, he's Advaitam, not dual, one, also Anantarupam, unlimited forms. So this, to our materially caged mind, this seems incompatible. How can something be one and at the same time have unlimited forms? That means not just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, that's more than one, Advaita. So this is the actual understanding of the Vaishnava philosophy. There was a great teacher by the name of Adi Shankara, and Adi Shankara, he taught the philosophy of Keval Advaita. Keval Advaita means complete oneness. Complete oneness. That there is no difference between the energy and the energetic. All is the same. The Vaishnava philosophers, however, refuted Shankaracharya, and they were starting with Ramanujacharya. He propounded the philosophy called, you know, Vishishtadvait. Vishishtadvait means qualified monism. Qualified monism. Then Madhvacharya, he propounded the philosophy called Dvaitavad. There's two things. There's the living entity and there's God. Dvaita. Caitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy synthesized all those ideas in one, and he called it Achintya Bed Aved Tattva. Achintya means it's practically inconceivable. Achintya, Bed, simultaneously different, abhed, and non-different, simultaneously different and non-different. Tattva, that truth, that's the truth. So there's, in the 60s and 70s, it was popular, people would say, we're all one, we're all one. Yes, we're all one in quality, but we're not one in quantity with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, or God, is unlimited, and we are very limited. He's supplying all the necessities of everyone. We're not doing that. So people say, we're all one. So that means we're also one with the animals. So why should we then kill the animals if we're one with the animals? But we're one and different, simultaneously one and different. It's like the sun and the sunshine. The sunshine has the quality of the sun, but it's not the same as the sun. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. So then, even though he's the oldest here, so usually, because in our material conception, we think that since God is the beginning, he's the oldest person, he must be very aged, correct? If he must be the oldest person, so he must be wrinkled and have, beard and tooth filling out, all that stuff. But that's our material conception. If God is the supreme, he is also the control of time, or the degrading influence. So this is Vaishnava philosophy, that God, even though he's the oldest, he's ever fresh. Nava Yovanam cha. Very interesting. Okay. Oh, next verse. Next verse is also. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin. He is the supreme prime cause of all causes. Purport. This is the first verse of the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. So here it says Krishna's body is spiritual. So another way of trying to understand Krishna's non-duality, Advaita, is we can appreciate or understand his body is spiritual. So like, for example, our body, we have different parts. We have arms and legs and head and eyes, and all those parts are different. So they're dual. They don't function together. They function in cooperation, but they're not all the same. So if you look at Krishna's body in the paintings and such, you'll see it looks like there's duality, because he has arms, legs, hair, feet, all that stuff. But in reality, all of the parts of Krishna's body have the same exact potency. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiran jaganti. So his senses, his ability, he can eat with his toenails. He can see with his hands. This is Advaita. So all the parts of his body have all of his complete potency. So when you come to the temple, we may like to first look at Krishna's face, but all of Krishna's potency is there in his feet. So the respectful method to approach Krishna to get his blessings, first of all, is to respectfully understand that everything about Krishna is there present in his lotus feet. So we bow down to his lotus feet by going all the way down to give respectful obeisances. Comments, questions? Okay, next verse.
স্বয়ং ভগবান কৃষ্ণ গোবিন্দ পর নাম সর্বেশ্বর্য পূর্ণ যার গোলক নিত্যধাম.
The original personality of Godhead is Krishna. His original name is Govinda. He is full of all opulences, and his eternal abode is known as Goloka Vrindavan. Ete chanksa kala pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. All these incarnations of Godhead are either plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. In every age, he protects the world through his different features when the world is disturbed by the enemies of Indra. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. See also Adi Lila chapter 2 verse 67. So this verse, Ete Chanksakal, very, very important verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we should all learn that verse. Ordinarily, if you go to the dictionary or to many different ideas of God, they'll say that Krishna is one of the avatars of
Vishnu.
That's right. That's what people think. But the authoritative, we just read, Ishwara Param Krishna Sachidananda Anadir Adya. He has no other origin. And here, this verse in Srimad Bhagavatam is at the end of a long list of different kinds of avatars or incarnations of God. When God comes from the spiritual world, avatar means one who descends. So it comes from the spiritual world down to this material world to, as it says, Indradi Vyakulam, to destroy the enemies of Indra. So after the end of this long list of avatars who have appeared within this material world, this verse is there that says, all those previously mentioned, including Mahavishnu, including Ram, including Nrsimha, they were all Angsha Kala, means a portion or a portion of a portion of God. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. But Krishna, Lord Krishna, is the personality of Godhead himself, the original. Anadir Adir Govinda. And Krishna appears in every age too. He comes himself also. Just like this time, in every day of Brahma, Lord Krishna comes and exhibits himself in his transcendental, supreme pastimes. And he brings with him his abode. Goloka comes to this world, Gokula Dham, for our benefit. Text 157.
জ্ঞান যোগ ভক্তি তিন সাধনের বশে ব্রহ্ম আত্মা ভগবান ত্রিবিধ প্রকাশে.
There are three kinds of spiritual processes for understanding the absolute truth. The processes of speculative knowledge, which is Gyan, right? Gyan. Mystic yoga and bhakti yoga. According to these three processes, the absolute truth is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Text 158. Vadanti tat tattvavedas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Very important verse, very important verses here. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. For an explanation, see also Adi Lila, chapter 2, verse number 11. Those who are interested in the impersonal Brahman effulgence, which is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can attain that goal by speculative knowledge. Those who are interested in practicing mystic yoga can attain the localized aspect of Paramatma. But as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridesha Arjuna Tishtati. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated within the heart as Paramatma. He witnesses the activities of the living entities and gives them permission to act. Questions, comments?
The last sentence, he gives permission to act. There's some hidden meaning in it, because if I am given permission to perform a sinful act, but he's not forcing me to perform it, then does it mean I have been given the permission and also the freedom to perform the sinful act? And if the answer is yes, then why does he permit us to perform sinful acts in the first place?
Good question. Yes, man proposes and God disposes. Krishna is situated within our hearts, and he's encouraging us to engage in devotional service. But because we're his part and parcel, Krishna is supremely independent. So we, as a small sample, part and parcel of him, we have a minute independence. Everything that's there in the Supreme is there in small part within the living entity. So we have this minute independence that we can choose to follow the direction of Krishna, of the spiritual master, of the Vedas, etc. Or we can choose to go against it. We can choose to act in a way that's not beneficial for ourselves or anyone else, hoping against hope that we'll get satisfaction. But despite doing so, we don't get any. That's called illusion. So Krishna, even though he gives us the opportunity, he encourages us not to, he gives us the opportunity to engage in his service, but he allows us to do something different. Just like a father, you know, a child may be playing with the fan and want to play with the fan, and the father says, no, don't touch that fan, you'll get injured. The blades of the fan will hurt you. So then after some time, the father might turn the speed of the fan down, and the kid puts their finger in, they learn. So similarly, we're in this material world because we've misused our independence, trying to go away from Krishna. And Krishna says, okay, you want to try it? Go ahead. Go ahead. So after trying it, intelligent people, they realize this is not a good practice. So for his mercy, by his mercy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Well, I thank you very much for...
Hare Krishna, Vishnugada Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Krishna. That's Dronacharya.
Hare
Prabhu, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Have you ever been questioned by somebody about this point about Lord Krishna being the source of all incarnations?
Yeah, all the time.
Especially among yeah. So beyond this verse, how do you? So you can quote this verse. Maybe somebody else may have another verse that substantiates, I guess, their point. Or how do we counteract this argument in addition to quoting this verse? Or how did you respond? How do you respond? Maybe that's a better way of asking it. How do you respond when questioned on this?
Well, you know, it depends on who you're talking to. If they're coming from the like a Eastern background, you know, do they accept the Bhagavad Gita? The Bhagavad Gita, not just this verse, but Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. I am the source of everything, mata, from me, sarvam pravartate, everything comes from me. So, you know, that's that we accept people from the say the Vedic background. If they accept Bhagavad Gita, then there's so much evidence in the Bhagavad Gita itself supporting the same point. That's the first thing. Of course, if they want to say Vishnu is supreme and Krishna is subordinate, well, Krishna's instructions, will they still follow Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita? If he's an incarnation of Vishnu, well, that's very important. Still follow his instructions then, right? Even Shankaracharya, who was a covered personalist, he said, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gita. There's one Shastra, one scripture, Devaki Putra Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, the Gita by the son of Devaki. Eko Mantras Devaki Putra Nama, and there's one name, Devaki Putra name. So even they say that. So there's a lot of evidence.
Prabhu, I have one question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're done? Okay. You're done with Dronacharya?
I guess, yeah, sure.
Okay. I always wonder why most of the religion in the world, they don't accept the form, you know, the personal form of God.
Why they don't?
Yeah, most of the religion in the, you know, they don't accept the form of God. Like Christianity, you know, Islam, and the Jews, and they just always think that God is great, God is impersonal, God has, you know. Why they don't accept the form like,
Well, it's a little difficult to understand, you know, just because in the regular world, you know, someone who has a forms are limited. You know, if I have a form, my form is here sitting in this room, but it's not across the city. So on one hand, you know, God is to be a person and still be all pervading. That's a tough thing to wrap your mind around. So because they don't have detailed knowledge about the nature of God. So this philosophy of achintya veda veda tattva is so important, because where do we have any, there's no experience that people have of a person who's unlimited. So they can only they fall back on an idea that God is some kind of energy or some impersonal thing. So with a proper understanding and of scriptures, they can be brought to that point. But it's hard to wrap your mind around that.
A quick question. When I was reading, I forgot which one of the Upanishads it was, but it's one of the 10 principal Upanishads. It talks a lot about the Purusha, the Adi Purusha. So do we understand that Lord Krishna is the Adi Purusha?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So because it's very difficult for us to understand God with our tiny brains. So we have to, you know, it's in fact not possible. It's only when we get we get instruction from higher sources of Krishna himself explains it to us, and by performing devotional service, that we can to an extent realize it. So that's hard the thing to get to wrap our mind around. So, for example, the first invocation of Sri Ushopanishad, Om Purnam Ada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And even though so many complete units emanate from him, like this material world is perfect and complete, still he remains the complete balance. So in our experience, if you have something and then you use it to manufacture other things, the original source is reduced. So this, the spiritual platform is completely different. Even though, so many emanations are coming from Krishna, still he doesn't get diminished in any way. It's like the sun. The sun is emanating, heat and light for millions and millions of years, but still it's not diminished. So this is hard to wrap around. When we're on the material platform, it's very difficult to understand those things unless we can hear it from a proper authority. I know that makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I have a quick announcement. Quick announcement I just want to make to everybody. Tomorrow for the Srimad Bhagavatam class here at 7:50, His Grace Ravinda Shri Prabhu will be giving the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So I invite all the devotees to come, and please invite others as well.
Yes.
Thursday night, at 7 o'clock, we have our Srila Prabhupada Leela reading. And on Friday, June 12th, His Holiness Giriraj Swami will be speaking at 7:30 p.m. So please mark these on your calendar, and please try to attend them for our spiritual benefit. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, is the same number for Friday also?
Same number.
Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.